guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ariana and this is my friend Jasmine. I'm really excited about today's video. It is my first official episode of my Girl Chat series. She is going to be sharing some exciting news while doing my makeup. She also has a YouTube channel, so give her a follow where she posts of beauty, lifestyle, a whole bunch of things. So make sure you follow her. And yeah, we could begin.
So today for Ariana, I'm going to be doing just a simple everyday look, and we're kind of going to talk through it, but while we're talking, I'm just going to explain to you guys what I'm doing briefly.
Yeah.
So we're going to start off, so Ariana already has super good eyebrows, so I'm just going to start off with that and just go ahead and touch it up a little bit, and I'm just going to use a simple eyebrow pencil.
What is that, Morphe?
This is Morphe.
Okay.
And the color, I don't know the color, but it's Morphe.
Is this what you use too?
Yeah, and this is the same one I use. So I'm just gonna sheer, like I said, her brows are already naturally full, so I'm just gonna kind of fill them in a bit where they're a little bit sparse.
Yeah. All right, Jasmine, should we share with them how we met?
Yes. Do you want to go first?
Yeah. So I met Jasmine. I can't even think. How many years ago? Like I don't.
It has to be like 4.
Like 4 years
maybe
ago?
even more, like maybe 4.5.
Okay, so I met her 4 years ago. She started dating a friend of mine. We grew up together in church, and she just started coming around church. And I would just remember for a while we didn't talk.
No, I was very timid at first because the church that we go to, it's a Christian church, and growing up I had always went to a Catholic church, so it was always just so weird for me. I'm like, why are all these people singing? It was different, so I was very timid at first.
Yeah, honestly, I think I probably said hi, but I probably was a little scared of you back then. She came off, and I think you even said that, like, you have already, like, that natural, like, you know what? No, she did, and I do have
a little bit of gangster.
Yeah, so, and I can't even remember when we just started talking, but we just did, and now, like, I'm closer to her than Robert.
She talks like this a lot, guys. Sorry. So if I'm like touching her face, I'm telling her why. But yeah, I think we definitely got so close over the last 4.5 years.
Yeah, definitely.
I'd probably consider Ari one of my good friends.
Aww.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jasmine's really close. I literally like talk to her about a lot of things. But she has some exciting news that I haven't even shared.
I do. So we got engaged.
So she just got engaged, like, what was it, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, we got engaged like August 15th or the 12th. I can never remember, but it's one of those days.
And let them know your wedding.
Yeah, so we got yeah. This is a little crazy, but we got engaged August 15th or 12th, and we're getting married October 10th of this year.
She's really planning a 40-day wedding, which I'm so excited for them. I know it's gonna come out really nice and stuff, but just with everything going on with COVID, and you know, they just want to be together and, you know, move on and start their next chapter in their life, so they're planning a 40-day wedding.
I know, it's so crazy. I told Ariana, and she was like, this October? And I was like, yeah.
I was just like, I was in shock, because I think her first date was like 6 months from now, and went from 6 months to 40 days. I'm like, okay.
I know, and it's probably been the most like, everybody's always like, a wedding is so stressful. And try planning, and that's like with a year. So try planning it in 40 days. It's been even more.
Plus, on top of everything that's going on in the world, I can't even imagine. But I know it'll come out good.
Her eyebrows are basically done. I just gotta carve them out now. So I'm gonna carve the eyebrows, and then we'll be right back because that takes concentration. Okay, so we carved out the eyebrows off camera because, like I said, it's pretty tedious. So now I'm just gonna go ahead and put foundation. And we're using the NARS foundation.
So, Jasmine, can you share with us a little bit of your testimony and how you started building, like, your personal relationship? Because I know, like you said, like, Robert was pretty much the one that like kind of introduced you to church. And that, how did your personal relationship begin with God?
Yeah, so I would say I've always known God. Like I said earlier, I grew up in a Catholic home, so we would do like our Sunday services on like our Easters. We'd go every other Sunday. Like, I went to a Catholic school in middle school for a couple of years, so I always just grew up in that kind of religious scene. So I was very, I guess I would say active in the Catholic Church, because I even went to youth groups with them. Like, I did all that stuff, which I am still grateful for, because I would say that's how I had my original introduction to God. But as I got older, like past middle school, I kind of, I don't want to say like lost touch with God, but I kind of stopped like the studying, stopped my prayers, stopped like all my readings. And then in high school, I went to a Christian church, a Christian high school, sorry. I went to a Christian high school, and it was a good school. I just don't think it was very biblically correct. So I kind of was taught, I guess you can say like false doctrines and stuff. Like, their view on it was a little bit different than it should be. And I just remember like still believing in God, because I would still learn about God, but I just remember always feeling like, no, something is a little bit weird, or like,
something's
you
off.
don't have to do this, or it's not always like you have to give money, or you have to like pray these, you have to pretend to be a good person, basically. So I always felt like uneasy with that. So basically after high school, I kind of just had like, that really turned me off to it. And then I met Robert, and he was very active in his church, so I would start to go with him. It started off with just one Sunday, and then I liked the people, I liked the messages that I was hearing. Like, something just drew me to like, this is how it's supposed to be, or this is how it's supposed to be taught. So, can you look up? So, yeah, I just started to go to church, and it actually is our pastor had a lot to do with it, but I want to say a lot of it, or a lot of encouragement that I had, and when I really started to feel a change and a transition, was when we started our college group. And we have I guess he's like a youth leader, would you consider?
College.
Like our college
young
leader.
adult leader, yeah.
He's like a young adult leader, and he really played a big part of it, and he would always explain things to me so easy, and I was always like, oh, that makes sense, or like, okay, I understand. So I definitely think he had a big part to play with it too. And then after that, I started to learn on my own. Like, I started wanting to read the Bible. I started wanting to look stuff up, and I started wanting to make changes. So I probably would say that was about 2 years ago, when I really was like, no, I'm in this Christian life for life. Like, I don't want it to be temporary. It's a lifestyle, and it's something that I'm called to be, and something I'm called to do.
That's beautiful. And I feel like that's like kind of where you have to get to. Like, you have to get to a point where like, I want this for myself. Like, I'm gonna search for myself. I'm gonna, dive into my Bible, pray, all those things. I totally get you, because I feel like that's where like I had to start, like how I started to see it too. Like, my parents can't do this, like this, me being a Christian anymore. I need to want this for myself. And I feel like that's when it just became more real. God became more real to me, and I totally get you.
Exactly. No, and that's like how I felt. Like, I just kind of not figured it out on my own, but our pastor was always like, don't only trust me. Like, you have to do your own research. You have to do this.
That's awesome.
So I just finished her concealer under her eyes, so nothing.
I'm starting to look normal.
Yeah.
I looked real crazy at the beginning.
Look up.
Look up, you said?
Yeah.
So like, with you and Robert, what has been like some struggles that you guys had to like overcome with you making that commitment, and him making that commitment, like, I want to follow Christ?
So we've definitely had a lot of struggles. We've had like the struggle of jealousy. We've had the struggle of, or have the struggle of jealousy. We have the struggle of like lustful, like sinful thoughts and everything like that. Everything in between, basically. But I would definitely say like the past 5 years, because we've been together 5.5 years, and I would say probably the whole time we've been together, the sin of lust has definitely been something that we've struggled with for a really long time. And me and Ari are good friends, so she's always known like we've been, no, let's live a life for God, like let's make this sacrifice and let's do it like this. And then we fall short, and then we're like, great, what's the point? And then it was just this ongoing cycle. It was just this ongoing cycle of, we're doing for God, we're not doing for God, we're doing for God, we're not doing for God. And it just became so tiring. And when you are living like a sinful life and you're just, I guess, okay with it, or you go to church every day and you hear this, and then you go back home and you're living another way, like it's just such a heavy burden on you, and you feel like just so much guilt. Like I was so insecure, and I never understood like why I felt so insecure with like my body, like why I was always so like timid with stuff. Like I just never understood. And then probably like, I want to say like 3-4 months ago, I really was just like, Robert, before me and you like get married, before me and you become anything more than what we are now, like we need to really reevaluate our individual relationships with God, basically. So I told him, I said, I think it's definitely time for us to make a sacrifice that's like pleasing to God, because right now we're only living for ourselves, and like what is that going to do, you know? So it was always heavy on my heart to just be faithful to God before I am faithful to anybody else, or before anything. So like into prayer, and trust me, it wasn't as easy as I'm like saying it. Like it took a lot of prayer from both of us. Like it took a lot of like nights where we were angry or fighting about it. It's just been a struggle to this day. But overall, I'm so thankful that we did do that, because I feel more like confident in myself. Like I feel more secure in like my worth, I should say. Not necessarily like, oh, I'm beautiful, like not that kind of confidence, but I feel confident in like
who you are,
who I am, and I feel like, wow, I am the, like you said, I'm the daughter of a king. Like you just feel like a different worth, and you know what you are, have.
No, I could totally relate to that. With like, I feel how you were saying, like you just felt like really down upon yourself, like, and insecure. Like it is that like inner battle with like you're wanting to do things right, and then you're messing up, so then there's that guilt. And it's just like you said, it was an ongoing thing. That was something that was like, it just kept going. That's neat though that you and Robert were able to make that decision.
And like I said, it definitely was not easy, but I think if you like feel something in yourself, like just go with that. Like I've always felt like that was God saying like, I want you to want me more than you do now, like make this sacrifice. And I would say if you feel even that, or you feel like your relationship is only about one thing, then you might need to pray about it and say like, God, what is the purpose of this relationship? Like, is this the person? Is this the man that you want me to be with, or anything like that?
And I just think like with that issue, like, I mean, how much more special is that gonna be for that moment to like happen when you're married and everything? Like that's something that I truly believe like God intended that to be between a husband and a wife, for them to like become one. And just, it's a beautiful thing when you know you wait for the right time, which is marriage. So I'm really proud of you guys.
And Ari knows firsthand.
Like, I know the struggle. Yeah, like I said, we and Jasmin, we've developed a close relationship. So I'm happy she was able to open up to me when, you know, with certain things. And I was the person that prayed for you guys.
And speaking of that, I think that's also very important is you should be either the friend that is like praying for another friend or have a friend that's praying for you. Like I am so thankful for the relationship that I have with Ariana because I feel no like shame or I feel like no embarrassment when I'm like, hey Ari, like can you pray for me? Like I'm going through this or this happened. You should always like want to be that friend or like have a friend like that.
And vice versa. I feel I've gone to Jasmine for many things, and she is someone that I know is I could confide in. She's gonna give me not just good advice, but biblical advice. So yeah. Okay, so I have another question.
Yes.
Like, what do you feel? You know, you and Robert being, you know, in a Christian relationship. What do you think is like most important for you guys?
Having a personal relationship, like an individual relationship with God. Like I am also guilty. Like one thing I also struggled with when becoming new to faith was I relied so much on Robert and I relied on like we gotta pray together, like we gotta do this, like we have to do this. It was always like a we need to go to God for this. It wasn't never I need to go to God or I want to go to God. It was always just like a unit thing. Like I never had an individual relationship with God. So I definitely think having a personal relationship with God away from like your significant other is very important.
No, and I love that you brought that up because I do feel that's extremely important. Like, you know, for me, like from my past, like I have seen you could tend to put like that stress or that I don't know the right word, but like you could leave it to like that one person to kind of carry both of you when it comes to like God. And I just feel no, like it's so important that you have your personal relationship and the other individual has a personal relationship, and then coming together that's like added to what you guys have. Because I can see how people could rely on just one person for that.
Yeah, definitely. So I think that was that's actually something we still talk about and we still encourage each other. Like, babe, you go do your Bible study, or like, hey, I need like 15 minutes because I'm just frustrated and I need to like talk to God before I talk to you or anybody else.
That's really good. I love that.
So that's definitely something important. And then outside of that is, of course, being able to, once you have like an individual relationship, each of you guys, I feel like it's a lot easier to come together and say, hey, like we are both struggling in this. Like we both need prayer for this, or like we both need to seek God in this situation. So when you have an individual relationship, it's a lot easier to come to somebody in like a unit.
Yeah, and then come together and pray and do those things.
And then I also would say like having faith and trusting in God. I guess that would also go along with your individual relationship, but having faith and trusting God's reasoning and purpose is so important, I think. So we're just blending out her eyeshadow. Like I said, we're doing a very natural look today, so I'm just gonna do like a cut crease but without cutting it and just doing some glitter in the middle. So off camera we did lashes and just finished up her highlighter and stuff, but Ari thinks this is not natural. I think that's natural.
She loves lashes.
Like,
I'm not
to me
used
this
to them.
is
So she added some. We would call these baby lashes then.
Yeah, I would call these the natural lash.
Okay.
So this is the overall finished product. Finished look. Now I'm just gonna set her face. This is just the Morphe setting mist. Doesn't it feel fresh?
It does feel good. I actually like the smell too of it.
And I like to fan it dry.
Thank you, Jasmine.
You're welcome. Do you like it?
I like it. Let me get my mirror. Very natural. No, I do like it. I like it a lot. Pretty.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
Okay, well, that is it. I wanted to ask you one more question before we end. She's preparing, you know, to be married, and what do you call yourself? A senora?
Oh yeah, I got French tip nails now.
She's preparing herself to
I'm
be
just
a
getting
senora.
ready.
Yes, a senora. What is something you're looking forward to?
I honestly think, like, I know it sounds crazy, and if you would have asked me this like 2 years ago, I would have never said, like, I'm most excited to just be like a wife. Like, I'm excited to like cook dinner. I'm excited to like have Robert start working on Robert's lunches and stuff. Like, I'm just so excited to be like a wife and to decorate and to be a mom.
All those little things.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cute. Well, I'm really excited for you, and congratulations. I love you so much, and thank you for coming on my channel.
Yes, I love being on.
Make sure you give her a follow. I will put her in the description, and I appreciate you guys for watching. Bye, guys. Mwah.